Hi everybody, it's week 5. This is Judy and I'm sitting at my house and that's where I will be for most of the week, so don't be looking for me in Denver because I ain't there. Um, Not much happened as far as the actual internship experience this week. The lead pastor was in one of his depression moods that started affecting all of us. I'm learning a lot from him about self-care, and unfortunately some of it is things don't do that, and this week was one of them. So I stayed, kind of in my little cubby, did my spiritual gifts, reached out to start talking about setting up another voluntary spot for some people from the Turning Point at a local homeless shelter. And that was about it at my actual internship site. But the really cool thing was what happened to me at St. John's on Sunday. As Dorothea already knows, I pretty much walked into church on Sunday morning with absolutely nothing in mind for a sermon. Nothing. I preach from the lectionary right now just because it gives me some foundation to start with. And I read all 4 scriptures, and while they were all wonderful and I liked them all, not one of them spoke to my heart. And I think it was just the kind of place I was in. That the depression that I picked up from the lead pastor over the Turning Point kind of followed me for a while, and you probably noticed it when I started talking about Ecclesiastism, which I think should be a word. It should be actually in the DSM-3. But so I walked into church and I talked over this whole situation with my covenant group the day before. And Dorothea had a wonderful idea, so I had Dorothea's suggestions in my pocket to use, thank goodness. And my whole plan was to just stand up there and say, all right, guys, what does it mean to be a child of God? If you're a child of God and you saw somebody, what would you tell them? And much to my amazement, this group of vibrant, dedicated, faithful people just looked back at me with silence. That's the first time I ever heard that church totally silent. And so I started joking and said, yep, my covenant group told me you do that. And I said, okay, I'll have to tell them that, they were right. And they kind of snickered at that, because I didn't make a big deal out of it. I said, you caught me. And so I talked a little bit, and then I heard a voice back in the choir loft say something, and I looked back and I smiled really big and I said, and Odell, thank you for pulling me out of that. And I said, I told them you were the one I knew would talk. And he grinned really big. I said, you would be brave enough to share. He grinned really big. He really liked that idea. And, the rest of them, you could see him sit up. It's like, oh, she's got something to say and I might be interested, which is not normal for this group. Usually half of them get up and walk out when the sermon starts, so because it's smoke time. And so it really threw me. But thanks to Dorothea, we talked about children and what are the good qualities of children, what are the bad qualities of children. I went right up front and said, well, I don't have kids, I've never had kids, but I'm going to use my dog as my example because you know how crazy she drives me. And actually the day before, she had started digging a hole in the yard that is taking on the shape of a swimming pool. So they all thought that was funny, and we were off to the races. And it never turned interactive like I wanted it to, but I did point out that while we are open and generous and loving and caring, we're not necessarily showing that to the people in the neighborhood. when they come and pick up food, when they come and get clothing, we don't say, come and see us tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We'd love to have you in our service. We don't do that one extra step of evangelism. Lots of times I'll hear, come back and see us. 2 weeks, we'll be open again. And I'm thinking, no, let's give them some spiritual food in addition to the physical food that we're feeding them. Let's let them know that, hey, we really, really care about you, and, we'd like you, come. We've had a couple people actually take us up on that offer when I've stood out there and did that very same thing. But there are other members who, thought that looked like a really nice gig because all I did was stand there and just talk to people. And so they kind of assumed that job, which was great, except they were saying, come back and see us sometime. So I challenged them this week. We will see how it goes. Our next food pantry and clothing bag is this Saturday, so I'll see how it goes with them. I'm praying that it will be something where they at least start. I don't expect it every time, but if I hear a couple, hey, won't you come back and join us tomorrow at 10 o'clock? We might have something for you here. I'm going to be happy. So thanks to the Holy Spirit and Dorcia Johnson, I got through my sermon on Sunday. And don't you know that one of the members came up to me and said, I really like that one. So thanks, Dorcia. Y'all have a great time at Gathering Days. I'm sorry I won't see you, Suzanne, Rich, Triss, and Yvette. This is probably your last Gathering Days, and I'm going to miss you. And I just want to let you know how much I appreciate all the encouragement, the love, and the help that you've given me over these 2 years. Thanks, y'all. See you next week.